Audio Jungle. Audio Jungle.
Welcome into After the Game Indiana Basketball post-game show. Today joined by our good friend Jordan Hulls, live from Germany. How are things going in Germany right now, Jordan?
Not too bad. We had a game last night that we won at home, so it was nice. And then had a little just slight recovery day today and took the kids outside just to expend some energy, and that's about all my day consists of if I'm not at
What's the weather
practice.
like in Germany right now, where you are?
Terrible, typical Europe. It's cold and rainy, and sometimes it snows, but it melts right away. So it's pretty cloudy and gray most of the day. If the
Well,
sun
it
ever
was
comes out, you got to get outside.
Yeah, well, it was pretty sunny in Assembly Hall today for the Indiana Hoosiers, of course, as they've now won back-to-back Big Ten games, knocking off
Hmm.
Minnesota today, 73-60. That's on the heels of a big win here over number 13 Ohio State a few days ago. So Indiana, after starting the Big Ten season 1 and 2, getting things back in gear, looking a lot better offensively, looking a little more. I don't know if loose is the word to say, but a little more free flowing leading up to these few games. It was you were really wondering, well, what kind of an offense are they actually running? What are they truly trying to do? But you can see now as they try to run everything through Trace Jackson, but you get the perimeter shots going like they did today, and that's a pretty good combination. Of course, Minnesota is not the toughest team they're going to play, but that's the things that they're going to have to do this year is be able to go inside as well as out.
No question. And like you said, Minnesota is not a terrible team by any means, but I was glad to see us after a big win against Ohio State come back and not lose our focus and still get the W back at home. I thought Rob played awesome in the first half. It's always nice seeing him hit 4 threes in the first half. That was big for us. When he's aggressive, we've said this before, not only this year but in years past. When he's aggressive and looking for a shot or looking to really create, we're a lot better team. So it was good to see. And then obviously Trace inside. He was being a very willing passer today. They were doubling. He's going to see double teams this whole year. So for him to kick it out and the guys being confident in getting those shots up, that's exactly a good recipe for us.
Yeah, and you can see a lot of the numbers crawling across the screen there, and well, I'll get into individual performances, but as a team, they did the things they needed to do. First thing that struck just huge in this first half, they had two turnovers in the first half, the entire first
Hmm.
half. I was like looking down, I'm like, is that right? Man, is Chuck Crab over there keeping stats? I said that can't be right. And actually, it was one for the longest time, but ended up with six on the game. Minnesota only with five, 11 turnovers
Yeah,
total in this entire game.
that's
Um,
unheard of. I feel like in a
yeah,
college, a college basketball game, that's not very common.
especially when Minnesota only shot 38% overall. It's not like they were shooting lights out. Um,
Yeah.
Indiana shot the ball well today, and of course in the post game, Mike Whitson talked about Minnesota forced their hand. They were not going to get beat by Trace Jackson Davis, as we saw him put 27 on the board against the Buckeyes the other night. EJ Liddell just had no answer for him, so they had what they thought was a better recipe, but unfortunately for them, Indiana shot 38% on 24 3-point shots. That's something else we haven't heard of since like the 2013s, when those guys like yourself are roaming these courts, man.
Yeah, it's teams are gonna have to adjust, and it's only gonna we're gonna be way more successful if they got to pick their poison. You're gonna either let Trace play 1-on-1 in the post, and he's gonna get to his left hand. He inevitably always gets to his left hand somehow, some way, and he's gonna make you pay. Or one other guy. I wish Miller Kopp. We need to get him more than just three. How many three? He only shot 2 threes. I feel like he's a guy who can get maybe some more shots from the outside, or maybe he needs to be more aggressive because he's if not the best shooter um, besides Parker Stewart, of course. But I'd like to see him get more touches or more shots up. But again, teams are gonna have to pick their poison with us, and for us to knock down the shots today. is very good to see. And like you said, getting into the rebounding battle for us, it was huge in the turnovers. That's if you have what would you say? Yeah, 6 turnovers.
Total for the
That's
entire game.
that if you can keep it under 10, that's a great goal to have. And when we do that and get defensive stops, get out and run, that's when we're at our best.
Well, and ironically, the only person that had 2 turnovers today was Trey Galloway, and I'm not trying to throw that on him. It's just that the fact that there was only one person with 2 turnovers and he didn't play much, a ton of the game, didn't play as much as he played last game, which was a little. Mike Woodson, he just every game you can tell he approaches every game differently. Every game is different. This was not the Ohio State game. You did not see the same rotation exactly, did not see the same guys in for the same amount of times. Every game is a different game, and you can tell he's playing them as they come.
Yeah, and it's all matchups too. Not that I don't know I didn't get to watch the Ohio State game, but certain guys in certain games are going to provide more of a spark for us, or they're more of a threat. Whether it's outside shooting or more penetration or better post feed passing. That's still something that we can get better at. That's probably where a couple of our turnovers came from today. But playing professionally, that's kind of how it is too. If you have a mismatch, or if this guy is better suited to play against this team, maybe that guy gets a little bit more minutes. That's just how it works. And at the end of the day, if that's what's going to help your team win, then that you got to be on board with that.
Yeah, you got a Rob Finney coming off of the bench to play 29 minutes. That's a ton of minutes to come off of the bench. Of course, he was lighting it up from behind the arc today. 4 of 9 from behind 3, 13 total points on the day. Four guys in double. Was it 5? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 players in double figures today. Xavier Johnson with 14, Trace with 13, Race had 10, Parker Stewart had 12, and Rob Finney with 13. An overall better shooting day from behind the perimeter for Indiana, which again is something we have not been able to say much of the last few years. And now having this inside-out combination, of course, as the Big Ten continues, they're going to see more and more of that. They're just going to have to get better at doing both of these because they're going to be challenged in both places. And there's going to be nights when you're playing a team who can actually guard down low as well as the perimeter.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then once you are knocking down those shots, you got to force long closeouts and then get into driving kicks. And maybe it's not the first pass out of the post. Maybe it's going to be the second or third one where we do get that open shot. So for us to continue doing what we're doing, studying game film, and I know the coaches are getting the guys in the right positions on the court. I think off-ball movement as well when Trace has the ball, not just standing out there and having your hands up ready to catch and shoot. That's a lot easier to guard than having some off-ball movement, maybe a back screen and a slip. Or I saw Xavier got that little backdoor pass, and then he dumped it off to Race, and he got a bucket. Little things like that are only going to help Trace. And then at the end of the day, too, once you do that all game long, then towards the last 8 minutes of the game, you can start feeding the ball to Trace, and he can go to work and do what he does best and get into the middle and, maybe get into the line and those kind of things.
If you're just joining us, you're listening to Indiana Basketball After the Game. Jordan Hall's joining me today. Indiana beats Minnesota 73-60. 5 players in double figures. Indiana now with back-to-back Big Ten wins. They now have to go on the road, leave the friendly confines of Assembly Hall. But before we get to that, let's talk about some individual players. Trace Jackson, of course, doing what he does. Another double-double. What did he end up with? 13 and 12. Race Thompson, 10 and 5. You're getting that from him day in and Race Thompson. I'm talking when you're getting 10 and 5 from your number 2 guy, that's pretty stout for your number 2 guy. Don't mean number 2, but you know what I'm saying. When day in and day out, and he does it day in and game in and game out. That is going to pay huge dividends down the road in Big Ten play for Indiana.
And his mobility too, just being able to, maybe bring out if the other team has a slower 4-man or they try and play 2 5s against our mobile big guys. I think he just poses as a big mismatch, and he looks more and more confident in shooting the outside shot. Not that he needs to shoot a ton, but maybe that's just enough to get guys to start flying out at him, and he's athletic enough to go by people and make plays. So I've always been a huge fan of Race and how he plays. He's just like you said, he's just constant. He's 10-5, and then anything after that, I think he's just going to continue to get better and better throughout the year. And obviously, having other guys, Trace, yes, but other guys on the outside who are knocking shots down opens everything else up for these big guys for us, and they're a hard duo to match up with sometimes.
Absolutely. I'm not going to be shocked at all to see Race Thompson playing in the NBA, and that's not something that I would have said a couple of years ago. He is just a just a solid player. Trace Jackson, like I said, he is what he is. What does Parker Stewart need to do to either get more shots? I mean, people think back, like I said, they think back at you or people like that had to work hard to get shots, but we're always moving, constantly working to get a shot. And sometimes we see that, but it's more the exception than the rule right now. But I'm not sure if that's just not a part of this offense, but is that what the case is from afar, or what, from your viewpoint, can he do?
Yeah, it's hard to say because I'm not in there. I don't know what the offensive schemes are or what they're trying to do. For us, it was if we could get a look off with me coming off a drag screen in the first 7 seconds, that's a good shot for us. Or hitting Christian for a trail three, that's a great look for us. With this team, I know it looks like we want to really push the ball. Xavier, he's going up and down the court. He's trying to fly, maybe a little out of control sometimes, but once he can hone that in, because he's super quick and making the right decisions. And he hit Parker Stewart with a just simple, hard dribble up the court, a couple dribbles, pass it up. He had a wide open three. I think for him, if we just get out and run, it's for us too, not only Parker, but everybody else. You get Trey pushing the ball up the court, being able to drive and kick, Trace running the floor. That's where our shooters are going to get those threes, is when everybody else is running, and then you kind of just fill in and we push the ball, and you understand kind of like the movement patterns of the defense. You just got to get one guy to kind of come in and sink into the paint, and then you're going to get your open shots. So running the floor, again, I don't know what they're doing on offense exactly. So I'm assuming just play through Trace, and then maybe we get spot up shots on the outside that way. But if there's stagger plays or anything like that, that's a whole different ball game too. But I think how many threes he shot? He was 2 for 3 today, Parker. Xavier Johnson shot the most threes. Rob did, him and Rob, but they were leaving those two guys open. So it's just this game. Maybe other games he'll get more shots up.
They're definitely not going to dare Parker Stewart to shoot the ball. That would be
exactly
like leaving you wide open. So they continue to move forward. He's got to continue to find shots, because as the Big Ten competition gets a little more stiff, they're not going to leave Rob Finney open either. They're not going to leave guys open for threes, because all of them can. Miller Kopp can hit shots. All these guys can hit shots. So
as a point guard too, like if I knew Will Sheehy was hot, or if I knew somebody else was hot, I was trying to run plays for them to get more shots, So it could be a different person at each game, but Miller Kopp, Parker Stewart, those are our two best shooters, right, supposedly. So if they're on, we need to try and get them more shots, or if they're playing off, maybe they start setting screens, and then you have to get the defense to adjust. Again, I don't know the offense. This is just trying to think of different ways for guys to get shots, but it's on the point guards and guys to understand exactly what they're trying to get. Again, it could be just throwing the ball in the post and getting the open spots and trying to get guys over help with a double team, that kind of thing, and just one more +1 passes to shots or other plays. But I think we definitely have the tools, and when Rob and Johnson are hitting shots, that's only gonna get those other guys more shots.
Yeah, and another good. The offense has really seemed like it picked up from the Ohio State game just 2 games ago, but there was a definitive difference. There have been too many games where Trace Jackson didn't get enough touches. This game kind of started out that way. I was wondering, I'm like, all right, I know that Minnesota is going to let you shoot, but don't let them dictate the play. And it seemed like they did in the beginning, but then they settled into their offense of what they want to run. But they're still trying to find that, and that's with Miller Kopp, I think, and with Parker Stewart fitting in, although that's getting better with each game that we see. Miller Kopp is still that. It seems like maybe that last piece that needs to find his role, so to speak, in that starting five, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, because those guys they're still playing 20 plus minutes just based on them spreading the floor out and giving Trace more space, right? So again, it could be the team that they're playing or whatever. One day maybe they get 10 threes off, you know. But I think, like you said, those two guys are going to be very important. And getting Miller Kopp, you know, he's had a couple big games this season already, but um, I know they're just trying to do the plays that are going to win the basketball games. Nobody's really those two guys aren't headhunting for shots or anything like that, and like, give me the ball, give me the ball, because they understand they got an All-American down on the post. But again, they're winning ball games, so we can't really complain too much. But it's always easier to look at a game and say we should do this, we should do that. But again, they're winning the games.
Yeah, 12-3 right now, and to be honest with you, this is a team that should be 14-1 without question. The Syracuse game should not have lost, and the Wisconsin game they shouldn't have lost. But coulda, shoulda, woulda. You can do that all day long. But that's great going forward. Although you know that like I said, the competition is going to continue to stiffen up. You've got Purdue coming up in a few days. You know, within a few games, it just starts to get more difficult. Michigan's and the Michigan States and all those guys. But right now, Indiana is playing, especially defensively. They're one of, if not the best defensive statistically teams in the Big Ten and in the country, for that matter. They are just doing a phenomenal job. That's one of the things I asked Coach after the game. Did you expect you're going to be here? Because I know he talked about defense, and defense is always a mainstay, but I did not expect them to be this good this soon.
Yeah, I mean, I think I said earlier, we're at our best when we're getting stops and just getting out and running. That's when you're going to get your open threes. You're going to get Trace for over the top layups or dunks. Getting our guards penetrating. And we're just flying around. I love seeing it. Trey there in the second half, he had a big, cut the guy off. Guy tried to shoot a step back, block shot. We get out and run the court. Those are kind of plays that are going to change the momentum of games when our offense isn't necessarily as flowing as we'd like it to be. Sometimes it gets stagnant. We're trying to force a couple of things here and there, but when we get stops, it's fun to watch. And I've always loved Rob. I think he's a great defender on ball. He's just super solid. I've always really enjoyed watching his defense. And then I talked about our bigs being mobile offensively, but that helps so much defensively too. They're athletic and go contest shots, and I feel like every rebound can be those two guys' board. So it's fun to watch when we're flying around, and I'd love to see a couple more charges. That'd be awesome, but I don't know when we're gonna get those.
Yeah, Rob Finney, I was watching today, particularly his defense stood out. I mean, he was just stuck like glue, and that's how you get to play. I mean, that and knock down 4 3-pointers, that helps as well. But yeah, no, he was playing tremendous defense. Even Trey Galloway, he snuck in and ended up playing 21 minutes. I didn't think he played that much, but he did end up getting 6 points, 3 of 6 shooting. When you can get guys like that are contributing off the bench quietly like that, that is a big contribution.
Yeah. And it's quiet. It doesn't have to be, you have to score 20 points off the bench. You got to come in and provide an energy. You got to provide that spark on both ends of the floor. More importantly, I'd say even defensively, because then we can get our stops and get out and run. And not always having to play half court. Not everybody wants to just do half court the whole game. Not old school Wisconsin, Bo Ryan offense. I hated playing the half court against them, man. That was the worst. But
I said this the other day. Indiana is becoming the new Wisconsin of the Big Ten. They're averaging. they're only allowing 59 points a game in Big Ten play.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yes.
That's wild.
I'd like to be on that team, buddy. A lot less shooting and a lot more work.
Yeah, that's funny.
Oh, what's coming up next for you? When's your next game?
We don't have any international games this week, so I'm still here in Germany. I have a road game on Saturday, I think. So we played yesterday. Yeah, I think we play on Saturday. long bus ride, so I'm not looking forward to that, but I'm used to it by now after almost 10 years over here. And then we have our Champions League. We're in the top 16. We advanced. We were first in our group, so that's nice. So at the end of this month, we start that next round. It's 4 groups of 4 again, and hopefully just continue winning. So we'll be doing that till March at least. And playing 2 games a week is way better than just one. I can tell you that.
Yeah. Too bad you don't have Ted Lasso as coach, man. That would be fun too.
Yeah, I binged that series pretty quick on a few road trips. That was awesome.
It was great. I can't wait for the new season to come out.
I know. I've been waiting.
Well, man, we'll as always keep up with you and follow up what's going on with the games. And appreciate you as always. How's the family? How are the kids?
Everybody's good. They've been out of school for Christmas break for a while, so we're ready to get them back to school tomorrow. The boys go back, and yeah, they're doing great. We had a pretty good Christmas.
Did they get Wiener Schnitzel for Christmas?
Yeah, classic. No, my wife actually, we got a ham. My wife made a little ham for us, and something else really good. Yeah, so she's a saint. She does all the work around here. I just go and play
we already
basketball
knew
and come
that.
home.
You didn't have to tell us that. I think everyone knows that. That's usually the case. Well, man,
Yeah.
I cannot thank you enough. Thank you both enough. I know the kids are in bed, so look forward to next time we can get them back on. But have to wait for another day game so we can catch you for the time to work out.
There you go. Yeah, they would love that. They're always, whenever I have a call or I'm on the computer, they always want to jump in, so they'd be happy to do that.
We love having them, man. We love having them. Well, Jordan, I cannot thank you enough, brother. As always, we appreciate you. And when you come back, we'll get you fed at Southern Stone, Patterson and Rogers, of course, where you can also find Inside Indiana Basketball each Monday night at 7:05 with Don Fisher and Mike Woodson. So make sure you go out there. I'll be out there tomorrow night. But until tomorrow morning, I'll be back on for Indiana Sports Beat. Jordan, I appreciate you, brother. Have
Thank you so much.
great night. Yeah, it is. It's already night over there. So have a great night
yeah.
for you. And thank you
Appreciate
guys. We appreciate all of you. Without you guys, there's no reason for us to be here. Thank John, the producer, again as well. Indiana with another Big Ten win here as they knock off the Minnesota Golden Gophers. What was that final score? 73-60, something like that? I don't even remember. Been too long ago. Everybody have a great day. Until tomorrow, I'm Jim Coyle. I will see you on the radio.